Hello, Mark Crossfield here, 360 show with Golf Online, talking putting, some simple ideas built around holding some more putts. Let's get stuck in. So let's show you some simple ideas around putting that you could play with at home. Look, I've measured some data using my Sam Putt Lab. Data here on the left is my ball position in the center of my stance, not where I normally have it. Ball position on the right is my normal setup, so ball forward is where I tend to have it. Now look at the difference in the aim, what it did to me at the beginning. The ball in the center made me aim the same distance right as I do almost left, 0.1 of a degree difference from that different ball position setup. So it completely changed how I aim the putter, which is an interesting start, both from very small tolerances though. Now, it very much changed how I delivered the putter. With the ball position in the center, you can see I'm 0.4 closed, less than a degree closed, where with the ball forward in my stance, I have the putter closing more through impact, so much more pointing to the left. Also, with the ball in my normal position, you can see I'm 3.4 left with the path, so the club is traveling left with the face slightly left. Face is open to the path, but it's traveling left of 0. And then my path was only 1.9 left when I had the ball in the center. So changing that ball position from my normal position, which is kind of front foot, to putting it in the middle, completely changed my aim, my delivery aim, so where the putter was delivered at impact, and also the path that I swung that putter on. You can use this kind of information, which I'll show you in a second with a few drills, to really help find your style. Now, if we carry on down, what's interesting, so you can see very much that the strike position changed. Now this is what balances out my poorer numbers, if you like, from my setup. Face left, path going left, but then I strike it out the toe pretty consistently, which then gets that putter or that ball starting more on line, because the toe strikes will tend to start a little bit further right. Now when I put the ball in the middle of my stance, you can see I tended to center the strike, because if I wanted to hold the putt, which is what I was trying to do on these putts, I had to make it functional, and the way I did that was to change my strike location. Let's show you what you can learn from this data. Very interesting how much my stroke is changing by a simple ball position change. So you can see how ball position severely influenced where I aimed, direction the club was traveling on, and strike point. Now if you want to play with those kind of factors, what I would like to see you do is a simple gate drill. So literally I'm going to put two balls out there, putter width apart. I'm not going at this hole, I'm going to go beyond, and all I'm going to do is hit some balls and try and get that ball starting on line, so between the balls. And I'm going to do that from a few different ball positions and see what gives me that most consistent feeling of strike in turn start direction. So for me, I can feel that if I put it forward in my stance, that my strike naturally moves towards the toe, but it's still through the gate. And then I also put it in the middle of my stance like I did in the test. I can feel now instantly I want to hit that ball more out the middle, but again, still starting through the gate. So for me, both of those are working. I'm going to use the one that feels better for me. Now I feel I can aim better from that ball position forward. I've done it from the start of since I've played golf, so it does make me feel more comfortable. But I certainly, if I was ever struggling with start direction, would have no problem moving that ball position around. It's a great way for you to test start direction using that gate drill, getting that ball to start on the direction that you think is correct. As long as you can read the greens, any kind of pace control, you're going to hold more putts. Don't be afraid to move that ball position around, experiment, find which one gives you that better start direction. So now let's look at a bit of posture change. So the one on the left was my very upright in my upper back, and the one on the right is my normal setup, which is much more rounded in my shoulders and bent over. You can see it didn't do much to my aim. My aim was very similar, which I'd expect. Didn't do much to my delivery of the face, which again what I would expect, as in where the face points at impact. It was a little less left, which surprised me actually. I reckon if I did the test again, I'm not sure that would be a reoccurring factor with the path. Now, here's the big change. Obviously lie changed. My putter is set up to my lie, so you can see it became very much toe-ended down when I became much more upright in my upper body. Kind of makes me feel like I want different shaped putters as well when I do that. and this is the big change which could help you, which we'll show you in a second with another drill. Look at the rotations. When my upper body top, or the top of my back became more upright, the stroke became much more rounded, if you like, much more rotational with the putter blade opening and closing. 4.7 to 8.6, where I'm more over the ball. What happens is the blade only went 2.6 to 8.1 rotations, and through that 10 centimeter before and after impact gap, 2.6 to 2, when the top of my back was much straighter and much more upright, so the putter face had more rotation, if you like, where when I was more over the ball, it was only 1.9 to 1.3. Really affected the way I was rotating that face through impact. Let's show you what that means and how you might be able to control that or not in a stroke. So simple ideas around stroke and posture. So for me, I have a very naturally rounded back as I hit my putts. And as I've got this club down here on the line, I would like to see you put one down, a club pointing parallel to your target line. What I can see is that the black and white of my Versa putter here, I can see that there is small rotations in the putter head when it comes to this small length putt. It's quite a small little amount of rotation, as the graph showed. Now, if I was to try and straighten my back off, which is something I thought about doing, I used to watch myself putt on video years ago, and obviously see myself putt a lot on video now, and I see my back very hunched over, very rounded. I try and straighten my back off. I can see when I putt along this line on the ground now, even though the stroke isn't curving more, I can see the rotations of the putter are much greater for me. And now those big rotations for me, even though I can hold putts doing that, they make me feel more nervous. I like to feel that putter having considerably less rotation down at the bottom. And again, it's something I would like you to try. Get a straight line down on the ground, maybe two. Practice with more straighter back, so certainly a top off, or hunching over more. Now, I tend to see a lot better data and more hole putts from golfers as a general rule when you get them more over the ball, feeling like they're going this way. Now, that doesn't mean bending over from the waist loads. That, for me, that means bending more over from the top of my back, which is where you're going to get that arc coming from with the rotations in the putter. Changing your posture can have huge effects on how you deliver the putter, how much rotations you put in. You can see from that small test there, and then in turn how many putts you might hole. Setup has such a massive effect when it comes to putting. So many players really reluctant to play and change it. Definitely a couple of drills there, a couple of ideas to help you this winter hopefully find your ways to holding more putts.